Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chief Justice, members of the General Assembly, members of our National Guard, fellow Vermonters, thank you for the opportunity to serve as your governor for another term. It is an honor to serve, and every day I am grateful for this extraordinary privilege. I'm also humbled today to be joined by the best congressional delegation in America. We all know they don't come any better than Senator Leahy, Senator Sanders, Congressman Welch. We welcome you to the State House and thank you for your extraordinary service to our great state. Thank you so much. I am so proud to be governor of Vermont. There is so much to celebrate about our state. Since our founding, Vermont has always been a national leader. First state to abolish slavery. First state to mandate public funding for universal education. First state to pass civil unions, and the first state to pass marriage equality without a court order. We enjoy the nation's lowest unemployment rate this side of the Mississippi. And this year, we were once again ranked the healthiest state in the nation. All of us here today in this gem of a state house on this glorious Vermont day know this. Vermont is the best state in the country for quality of life. The best place to live, to work, and to raise a family. The state of our state is healthy, it's resilient, and strong. We're blessed to live here, and we care deeply about our shared future. Today I'm going to diverge from tradition and focus this speech on one thing: an education system that grows Vermont's prosperity. My goal, and the single objective of my administration, remains to grow jobs and incomes for working Vermonters. Our education system, from pre-kindergarten to higher education, is the state's greatest economic development tool. Our kids routinely test above the national average and excel in a wide range of disciplines. We have a great system, and we must make it together even greater. To stay on top, Vermont must follow the steps of our predecessors, who refused to be led by history, but instead had the courage and imagination to shape it. If we stand by, if we fail to innovate, and if we refuse to change, we will slip behind. We stand on the shoulders of leaders who, at defining times, chose to be bold. As we continue our slow recovery from a devastating recession and a devastating storm, I believe that Vermont is again poised to lead. You know, we're on the right path. We are focused on getting Vermont off its addiction to oil and building renewables. And we now have more high-tech green jobs per capita than any other state. We're delivering on our promise to grow prosperity by connecting every last mile of Vermont to high-speed internet access by the end of this year. We are implementing the first common sense, single-payer healthcare system in America where healthcare is a right and not a privilege, and where we contain unsustainable rising healthcare costs. And we're adding jobs. Employers across the state, who just 2 years ago might have been contemplating another layoff, are looking for well-trained and skilled workers. Our incomes are slowly rising. In 2011, Vermont was the only state in a union where incomes actually rose after a decade of stagnation. But it's not enough. The 7th lowest unemployment rate when you're struggling to find a job is not low enough. 4% income growth is better than the rest of America. But for too many Vermonters who are working a job or multiple jobs and still struggling to pay their bills, it's not enough. Enjoying one of the highest economic growth rates in the Northeast is better than where we used to be. But for so many moms and dads like me who want their kids to live and prosper right here at home, it's not enough. Now, here's the irony. The true challenge that I hear day in and day out as I log mile after mile as your governor traveling Vermont is this. At the same time that so many Vermonters need to make more money to make life work, and at the same time that so many families seek to bring their kids and loved ones back to Vermont, our employers from border to border are eager to find workers with the right educational skills, and they have good money to pay. Go with me for a moment to our deep south, where in Brattleboro, second generation. I've been there. Where in Brattleboro, second generation business owner Norm Schneeberger at GS Precision is manufacturing world-class machine parts for the aerospace industry, and laments that if he could find enough engineers and trained machinists, he could grow his workforce by 25% this year alone. Drive over the mountain to Bennington, which has become ground zero for the composite revolution, where Poisson is building auto parts that are lighter, stronger, and more energy efficient than their steel predecessors. And they need trained technicians to meet a growing worldwide demand. GE Rubber, manufacturing aeronautics parts that power nearly every plane in the entire world, is struggling to bring in engineers and computer technicians. Green Mountain Power is turning Rutland into the solar capital of New England, opening an energy innovation center in the heart of the downtown and building solar farms to power the region. This will create more green jobs that need skilled workers. Travel east over the mountain to Windsor County, where in Woodstock, NatureShare is making apps for iPhones and looking for trained computer technicians. Head to Shumlin County, where the cry for workers turns more to a roar. IBM has more than a dozen openings for high-paying, energy-level technicians with 2-year degrees and basic math skills. They cannot fill them. My web grocers at Dynapower are growing and hiring. Dealer.com, which now is employing over 600 Vermonters with big plans to continue expanding its workforce, needs skilled workers to fill its high-paid jobs. Add to the list, Mining Technologies in Franklin County, Concept 2 Rowing in Lamoille, UTC Aerospace, formerly known as Goodrich, in Addison, Global Z in Bennington, Matt Golding in Arlington, North Heartland Tool Corporation, Superior Technical Ceramics in Franklin County, New England Precision, and Wall Goldfinger in Orange County. The need for skilled workers goes on and on and on. Perhaps the need is best embodied in the Northeast Kingdom, an area of our state that for generations has struggled with chronically high unemployment rates and low incomes. the home of Tony Parma, where Bill Stenner and Ari Kuros continue to shine a beacon of hope, opportunity, and future prosperity. For Bill and Ari, investing $250 million and creating 5,000 new jobs over the past 5 years where they built a world-class resort at JP is not enough. They're moving on to phase 2, a project of unprecedented ambition, which partners with Senator Leahy's EB5 program and my administration to grow prosperity in other regions of the kingdom with $600 million in new investment, creating 10,000 new jobs. New opportunities, new jobs will be at ANC Bio, a South Korean company that conducts cutting-edge stem cell and artificial organ research that will be looking for scientists and other well-paid technicians. Windows is a German manufacturer of the highest efficiency windows in the world. They'll be adding 500 jobs. A world-class resort to be built in downtown Newport on the beautiful Lake Memphremagog will need hundreds of workers, as will the revitalization at Burke Mountain. I'll be traveling with Bill and Ari to South America, to Asia, and other ports to help secure capital for this project. And in the months ahead, additional announcements of job opportunities will likely be forthcoming as they are secured. Time doesn't allow for me to recite the hundreds of other creative entrepreneurial ventures, large and small, in value-added agriculture, food systems, healthcare, technology, manufacturing, tourism, travel, energy, education, services, retail, and the trades that bless our little state right now. I remain unfailingly optimistic about Vermont's economic future. But to ensure our success, we must embrace change in the way we both view and deliver education. The rapid change that is required of us is not optional. It will define our success or deliver our failure. Let's face facts for a minute. These opportunities for prosperity, from our southern border to Canada, result from the way technology has transformed Vermont's economy and our lives. Think about how technology has changed our daily lives. Paying our bills, shopping, communicating online, texting and tweeting our way through the day, managing our finances, keeping enough tabs on our kids. Technology allows computers to create products that a decade ago, even 5 years ago, didn't even exist. It has created connections to a larger world that allows many more people to do business from Vermont that would not have been possible in the pre-tech world. That same technology has dramatically changed the tools available for teaching and for learning. It has changed the nature of work. The high school degree that brought success and a lifetime job in the old economy ensures a low-wage future in the tech economy. Success in the new economy depends upon an educated workforce with the skills beyond high school in science, computer technology, engineering, and math. I ask you, is Vermont prepared to meet this challenge? Are we ready to harness the opportunity so critical to our future prosperity? The plain truth is, we are not. Look at the facts. Current estimates show that 62% of job openings in the next decade will require post-secondary education. 62%. It only about 45% of Vermont's students who begin 9th grade continue their education as high school. Those are the facts. Here's the toughest part. As that percentage drops as family incomes decline. Now, these facts don't diminish our accomplishments. Together, we've done innovative and cutting-edge bipartisan work with school funding in the past decade and a half, and you deserve to be proud of that. Vermont took a regressive property tax that funds our most important obligation in a democratic society and made it equitable and progressive, giving every child in Vermont an equal shot at resources while preserving local control. Now, some like it and some don't. And we could debate it until the cows come home, and I'm sure you will. But in doing so, we ignore the next opportunity that will define our future prosperity. Keep in mind that we spend more money per pupil than all the other states in our country, except for 2. We spend more than 50% above the national average, and K-12 spending in Vermont has grown faster over the last decade than in any other state in America. But the following simple fact ought to alarm all of us. With a vast amount of money that we spend per pupil in Vermont, we have failed to move more low-income Vermont kids beyond high school. Now is the time to take a good education system in Vermont and make it the best. To get us there, let's take action on the following 4 areas. First, it is long past time for us to put our money where our mouths have been and strengthen our commitment to universal early childhood education. Let's remember that while 90% of a child's brain is developed in the first 36 months of life, only 4% of our education dollars nationally are spent during this critical time. The evidence is overwhelming. The earlier we invest in our children, the healthier, more productive lives they will have. Taxpayers win too, since every dollar we invest in early childhood education saves $7 in the future. So today, I propose to make the largest single investment in early childhood education in Vermont's history. We will redirect $17 million from the state's earned income tax credit to make high-quality child care available to hardworking, lower-income Vermonters. There is no bigger obstacle to Vermont parents who want to work and advance than the high cost of quality child care. This bold action will nearly double the state's contribution to child care for our lowest income families. My administration will also ensure financial support to communities that initiate publicly funded preschool programs where they do not now exist. Our budget will include resources for the first year startup costs, after which communities offering preschool programs will be eligible for reimbursement through the education fund. We've got to get more kids in. I will invite all early childhood stakeholders to a summit to build and embrace our vision for the success of our children and their families. I have directed the Agency of Human Services to implement an integrated plan for health promotion and prevention, beginning before birth to ensure that all children reach their full potential. also do more to ensure that our children are healthy and prepared to learn. When Sue McGuire was principal at Bennington's Montpelier Stark Elementary School, she took the resources that she had available, leveraged them where she could, and provided her students with full-service health centers right at the school. The center provides pediatric, psychological, dental, nutritional, and preschool services right on site. I've asked Sue to work with my Secretary of Human Services and my Secretary of Education to bring that same ingenuity to schools across our great state. Well past time to move aggressively on early childhood education. Words are nice, action is better. Let's take it together. Second, students can't learn when they're hungry. Yet too often, we ask hungry kids to learn. While some low-income Vermont kids are eligible for free lunches under the federal guidelines, others have family incomes just high enough so that they're forced to pony up cash they don't have to eat lunch. We must fix this problem for the thousands of low-income Vermont students who can't afford to pay for their lunch. We can do it. The state covers the shortfall left by the federal government and makes free lunch available for all low-income Vermont students, including those who are currently only eligible for reduced prices. Whenever possible, these lunches should be made from locally grown Vermont food. Vermont farmers grow the healthiest food in the nation. No doubt. This is a common sense, reasonable proposal that I will include in my fiscal 14 budget, and I ask for your approval. Third, we must make education more accessible and affordable to all Vermonters. To help move more poor kids beyond high school, I ask you to pass two provisions that you've heard me talk about before. The first is dual enrollment. Over the past 5 years, state funding has provided limited access to Vermont high school students to get a head start on gaining expensive college credit by enrolling in 4-credit college courses while they're in high school. In my budget, I will propose doubling the funding to expand access to this important program. I urge you to adopt a system where the money follows the student and all Vermont students have access to this important program. Let's also authorize an early college initiative aimed at expanding the number of students who simultaneously complete their senior year of high school with their first year in college. For more than a decade, 40 students a year have done this at Vermont Tech, where they concentrate on science and technology with great success. Having only 40 kids in this program after 10 years is a paltry number. Let's open this program to all interested Vermont high school seniors, with the money following the student. Next, we know that the level of college debt being amassed by Vermont students and their families is oppressive. The crisis, and this crisis, requires us to address affordability with new vigor, particularly for those students who pursue degrees in the disciplines of our new economy. We also know that one of the challenges we face is keeping young Vermonters in Vermont. So today, I say to the graduating class of 2013, If you make a commitment to our state, then our state will make a commitment to you. We want you in Vermont. We need you in Vermont, and we're ready to be bold in keeping you in Vermont. I propose the Vermont Strong Scholars Program. It's a simple program, and here's how it works. If you enroll in any public institution of higher education in the state of Vermont and graduate with a degree in a STEM field, we will give you a helping hand to stay and work in Vermont by paying you back over the course of 5 years for your final year of tuition. If you graduate with an associate degree in a STEM field, we will pay you back over 3 years for your final semester of tuition. I urge the legislature to approve this proposal to give young Vermonters a break on their higher education bills while helping us build prosperity together right here at home. I commend the Vermont State Colleges and the University of Vermont for working hard to hold down tuition increases for next year. And I propose to increase the state's appropriation to the Vermont State Colleges, VSAC, and UVM by 3% to be used entirely for financial aid and scholarships for Vermonters. How my affordability plan would work at UVM. My budget increase will be sufficient to hold all entering Vermont students harmless from next year's 3% tuition increase. If Vermont students want to take advantage of the world-class education that they can get right here in the Green Mountain State, I want to do everything in my power to help them do just that. Buying back tuition increases for Vermonters is not enough. We must also identify savings to guarantee affordability for our students and their families and the survival of UVM and our state colleges. President Sullivan and Chancellor Donner enthusiastically agree, and we're initiating a joint planning process reporting back to us on their progress. At the same time, former interim president, UVM President John Brennan has been engaged to implement the 11 recommendations of the group I appointed last year to find ways to strengthen UVM and our state colleges. I ask that you all work in partnership with John to adopt that report and all 11 recommendations. Don't all do at once. Finally, we must do a better job of focusing the education of our children from grade school through college on career readiness. We can do a better job of personalizing educational opportunities and integrating technology, career training, and internships with traditional classroom education. I propose that Vermont's schools develop personal learning plans that travel with each student from elementary school through senior year. These plans would help guide each student's education and also the educational goals to career opportunities, making school more relevant. The key to this proposal is to increase our students' individual options while fostering a connection between school and career. We must also address our poor performance in math. While we have impressive successes to celebrate in other disciplines, Vermont falls off the rails in high school math. In 2011, NECAP results tell the tale. 68% of the students in grades 3 through 8 are proficient in math. 68%, not bad. When they take the test in 11th grade, only 36% are proficient in math. Let me repeat that, 36%. This is as alarming as it is unacceptable. But unfortunately, no one should be surprised. Currently, algebra is required in only 47% of Vermont high schools, and geometry only in 31%. We can fix this without spending one additional dime. Today, I reiterate my call to require that all 9th graders take algebra and all 10th graders take geometry. Math skills in the new economy are more important than ever before. We must also do more to utilize our 17 career and technical education centers around the state that provide opportunities for students and adults who need to update skills or advance their earning power. I propose using the centers as the foundation for Vermont innovative zones throughout our state. Our current funding system does not encourage centers to match the needs of the regional employers. These innovation zones will focus on areas of education and professional opportunity that fit the needs of their region. For instance, let's go back to the opportunities on the horizon in the Kingdom. The need to fill high-tech, high-skilled jobs that will soon be available. Under my proposal, high schools and tech centers in the Kingdom would become an innovation zone and will be able to shift current generic course requirements to focus on those that provide training in the regional needs. For example, the Kingdom may choose to focus heavily on engineering, hospitality, and healthcare courses that will result in Kingdom jobs for Kingdom kids. We have the tools available now to connect students and adult learners with new opportunities. But we can do a better job of ensuring that these opportunities suit the needs of each region. Now, I recognize that today I've asked a lot of our schools, our teachers, our administrators, parents, and certainly our children. I pledge to work with you to ensure what I know is our shared goal, that everyone has access to education throughout their life, regardless of who they are or how much money their parents make, and that they can keep learning and keep developing their skills for the economy of Vermont's future. To Vermont's business community, we can do great things together to grow jobs, but employers can't afford to stand by idly and pretend that government can do this and meet this challenge without your full participation. I call on employers to engage with the education system at all levels. Open your businesses to our students. Let them interact with your employees so they can see how to use their education every single day. Invite teachers and guidance counselors into experience a deeper understanding of what their students need to succeed. Engage high school and college interns and provide opportunities for young employees to go back for all employees to go back and further their educational opportunities. At this moment in our history, we must focus particular energy on workforce development. But it should not be lost that the broader mission of our schools is to produce educated citizens prepared to engage in their civic responsibilities, each to their individual potential. This includes making a living, but also making a life for themselves. Our vision for Vermont education is clear. Let's offer, from birth to cap and gown and beyond, the knowledge, creativity, civic lessons, and career opportunities every Vermont child deserves. Fulfilling this vision will require all hands on deck. And here's the good news. This is what we do best in Vermont. In challenging times, we find common purpose. From business leaders to teachers, administrators to elected officials, we're in this one together. I'm proud to say that Vermont understands this and always has. I mentioned earlier that Vermont was the first state to mandate publicly funded education. Vermont and this government places the highest priority on education. There is no greater responsibility that we have as elected representatives than ensuring that our children have the best educational opportunities in this nation. The Vermont that I envision for our future is one where the companies that I mentioned earlier, from border to border, are thriving with Vermont-trained and Vermont-educated workers. It's a future in which our kids can expect their top-quality education to open up a world of opportunity right here at home. It's a future in which these students, as well as adults, are fluent in math and science and are using the latest technology to learn and then to work. It's a future in which the greatest dilemma facing Vermont's businesses is not how to find a good Vermonter to hire, but how to choose among the abundance of qualified Vermonters. And it's a future in which Vermont is once again showing the nation what it takes to innovate, create new opportunities to grow, and to lead. This future is within our reach if we have the courage and the creativity to seize it. Let's seize it together. Thank you.